The rain had been falling in sheets all evening, turning Chicago's backstreets into shining rivers of black asphalt. Detective Jack Callahan hated nights like this, the kind where the city seemed to swallow itself whole. He ducked under the yellow tape strung across a narrow alley off West 18th Street. The stink hit him first, garbage, gasoline, and the coppery tang of blood. The body lay crumpled against a dumpster, face half, hidden by wet hair. Female mid-20s dressed in a sequined cocktail dress that was now soaked through. Another one, muttered Officer Ramirez, one of the uniforms on scene. Third this month. Jack squatted beside the body. The woman's eyes were wide open, glazed, her lips parted as if caught in a final scream. But what chilled him wasn't her expression. It was the carved symbol just above her collarbone, a triangle intersected by a single vertical slash. Jack frowned. He'd seen it before. Cause of death. He asked the coroner, Dr. Lewis, who was bent over the victim. Single stab wound to the heart. Clean, precise, same as the others. Jack cursed under his breath. 3 women, all killed in the same way, all marked with that same strange symbol. The press had started whispering about a serial killer in Chicago. Jack hated to admit it, but they were right. His partner, Detective Maya Torres, arrived late, soaked to the bone, her hair plastered to her face. "Sorry, traffic," she muttered, pulling on latex gloves. She took one look at the body and exhaled sharply. Same signature. Jack nodded, triangle and slash. Maya glanced around the alley. No signs of a struggle. He's careful. He chooses them, controls them, then... She trailed off, her jaw tightening. Jack stood, scanning the alley. Empty fire escapes loomed above, rain cascading off rusted gutters. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wailed. "This isn't random," he said quietly. "He's not killing for fun. He's leaving a message." Maya raised an eyebrow. A message for who? Jack's eyes lingered on the symbol carved into the woman's flesh. His gut told him the killer wasn't speaking to the police. He was speaking to him, and that thought made Jack's skin crawl. Detective Jack Callahan had always trusted his instincts, and tonight they screamed louder than ever. The killer wasn't just leaving a body, he was leaving a conversation starter. Back at the precinct, the homicide unit buzzed with reporters calling, captains shouting, and phones ringing off the hook. The rain hadn't stopped, and water dripped from Jack's trench coat as he dropped into his chair. His partner, Maya Torres, tossed a file onto his desk. "Victim's name is Rachel Hines," she said, age 26, bartender at a club downtown, no priors, no enemies, no outstanding debts. Just a regular girl trying to pay rent. Jack scanned the file. Normal background, clean record, same as the other 2 victims. He's not picking them for what they've done. He's picking them for what they represent. Maya crossed her arms, and what's that? Before Jack could answer, Captain O'Connor stormed over, red, faced as always. "Callahan, Torres, press is crawling up my ass. They're calling him the Triangle Killer now. I want results, and I want them yesterday." Jack leaned back. "He's meticulous, Captain. Leaves no prints, no DNA, nothing but the symbol. He's organized. That means he's gonna kill again." "Then find him before he does," O'Connor barked, stomping away. Later that night, Jack sat in his car across from the crime scene, watching the alley fade into shadow as the last of the uniforms left. His cell phone buzzed, an unknown number. He hesitated, then answered. Detective Callahan. A distorted voice said, low and mechanical, "You found her." Jack's grip tightened on the phone. "Who is this?" Silence for a beat, then the voice continued. "The city is full of corruption. You don't see it, but I do. The women were not chosen at random. They are part of the lie." Jack's heart pounded. "What lie? You'll understand soon." The voice paused, then added, almost mockingly, "Check your desk." The line went dead. Jack raced back into the precinct. Maya looked up from her computer as he stormed in. "What's wrong?" He didn't answer. He yanked open his desk drawer and froze. Inside lay an envelope, plain and white. No postage, no name. Someone had slipped it inside without anyone noticing. Jack tore it open. A single photograph slid out. It was a picture of him, standing outside his apartment building, coffee in hand, 2 mornings ago. The angle suggested a long lens. Someone had been watching him. On the back of the photo, scrawled in red ink, was the same triangle symbol with the slash through it, and beneath it, 3 words, "You are next." Maya's face went pale as she looked over his shoulder. "Jesus, Jack, he's targeting you." Jack clenched his jaw, staring at the photo. The killer wasn't just playing games anymore. He'd crossed the line, turned the hunt personal. Jack Callahan had spent 20 years chasing monsters in Chicago's shadows. But now one of them had decided to chase him back. The next morning, the sky over Chicago was still iron gray, clouds sagging low over the skyline. Detective Jack Callahan hadn't slept. The photo sat on his kitchen table, taunting him. His coffee had gone cold hours ago, untouched. Someone had watched him. Someone had slipped into the precinct, into his very desk. That meant the killer wasn't just out there in the city. He was close. By the time Jack dragged himself into the squad room, Maya was already there, eyes bloodshot but sharp. She had a stack of files spread across her desk. "I went through the victimology again," she said. "All 3 women lived in different neighborhoods, no connections, jobs, friends, family, but they all frequented one place." Jack raised an eyebrow where Maya tapped the file. "The Sapphire Club, downtown, upscale, velvet ropes, catered to rich guys who wanted to feel dangerous for a night. Our bartender victim, Rachel Hines, worked there. The second victim, Lena Morris, was seen there 3 nights before her death. And the first victim, Holly Reeves, had a membership card in her purse." Jack straightened. "So the killer's hunting there, or working there." Meyer added, "That night they went undercover." Jack hated suits, but he cleaned up well enough to blend in. Maya wore a black cocktail dress, her badge tucked into a clutch purse. Together, they slipped past the bouncer into a world of pulsing bass, crystal glasses, and 2 slick smiles. The Sapphire Club was a hive of energy, blue neon spilling over polished marble floors, waitresses weaving through the crowd with trays of champagne. Jack scanned the room. Everyone looked normal. Everyone looked guilty. Maya leaned close, her voice barely audible over the music. "Killer picks women who don't fit. Maybe he watches, waits for them to be vulnerable." Jack's eyes drifted toward the bar. A man sat alone at the end, tall, well-dressed, sipping bourbon without speaking to anyone. His gaze wasn't on the dancers or the stage. It was fixed on a young woman laughing with her friends. Predator eyes. Jack made his way over, casual. "Mind if I sit?" he asked, sliding onto the stool beside the man. The stranger smirked. "It's a free country." Jack studied him. Early 40s, expensive watch, manicured nails, but his eyes, sharp, unblinking. "You come here often?" Jack asked. The man chuckled. "That's the oldest line in the book, Detective." Jack froze. "Excuse me." The man swirled his bourbon. "Don't bother lying. You're not here for drinks. You're hunting me, just like I'm hunting you." Jack's pulse spiked. "Who are you?" The man leaned close, his breath warm with whiskey. "Names don't matter, only symbols, only the truth we carve into flesh." Jack reached for his badge, but the man was already on his feet, slipping into the crowd. "Maya," Jack barked, pushing through dancers and strobe lights. They chased him through the club into a back hallway lined with mirrors. For a moment, Jack caught the man's reflections, smiling, taunting, before he vanished out a side door into the rain-soaked night. By the time they burst into the alley, he was gone. Only a single calling card remained, taped to the brick wall, the same triangle with the slash, and beneath it, written in neat, deliberate script, "I choose who lives, I choose who dies, you are late." Jack's gut twisted. Somewhere out there, another woman was already marked, and this time the killer had shown his face. Detective Jack Callahan hated waiting. Patience wasn't in his nature, but that night, patience was the only weapon he had. He sat in an unmarked van 2 blocks from the Sapphire Club, headset crackling with chatter from surveillance. Rain tapped on the windshield, a steady rhythm that set his nerves on edge. Across the street, the neon sign of the club glowed like a lighthouse for predators. Maya Torres' voice came over the radio. "I'm in position." Jack adjusted his earpiece, eyes locked on the entrance. Maya was inside, posing as bait. She wore the same black cocktail dress, her badge tucked out of sight, a wire hidden beneath the strap. Jack hated sending her in. It felt like dangling meat in front of a shark, but she'd insisted. If he knows we're watching him, she had said earlier, he won't make a move. He has to believe he's in control. Jack clenched his fists. And what if he is? Inside the club, the music throbbed, bass rattling the floor. Maya sipped a soda, pretending it was a gin and tonic, her eyes scanning the room. Men in tailored suits eyed her, but none approached. Not the right one, not yet. Then she saw him, the same man from the night before. Tall, sharp, featured, dressed in charcoal gray. He moved like he owned the place, slipping through the crowd without touching anyone. His eyes locked on hers. Maya forced a nervous smile, playing the part. The man approached, sliding onto the stool beside her. "You look out of place here," he said smoothly. "Maybe I like feeling out of place," Maya replied. The man tilted his head, studying her. "You're not like the others. You're curious, but curiosity can be dangerous." Jack's voice came over the wire, tight with tension. "Stay calm. Let him talk." The stranger leaned closer. "You ever wonder why some people are chosen and others aren't?" Maya kept her breathing steady. "Chosen for what?" He smiled faintly. "For judgment, for truth. The world is full of lies, detective." Her blood ran cold. He knew. Before she could react, he slid a small envelope across the bar. "For your partner," he whispered. "Tell him I said hello." Then he was gone, slipping into the crowd, vanishing before backup could close in. Outside, Jack tore open the envelope with shaking hands. Inside was a photo. Another woman, blonde mid-30s, walking home on a rain slick street. On the back, the triangle symbol and a time. Midnight. Jack's stomach dropped. The clock on the van's dashboard read 11:32 p.m. "Son of a bitch is giving us a deadline." Jack growled, throwing the photo onto the console. "Maya, we move, now." The address came back fast. Aaron Doyle, a paralegal who lived in Logan Square. No criminal ties, no reason to be targeted. Just another ordinary woman plucked from the city at random. Jack and Maya raced through slick streets, sirens wailing, the city blurring past. Every red light felt like a death sentence. Every minute shaved from the clock, a nail in the coffin. At 11:59, they screeched to a halt outside Aaron Doyle's building. The front door was ajar. Jack drew his gun, heart pounding. He kicked it open, storming inside. The apartment was dark, the smell of rain mixing with something metallic. On the kitchen floor, Aaron Doyle lay bound and gagged, eyes wide with terror. A knife glinted at her throat, held by the same man from the club. "Drop it!" Jack roared, weapon trained on him. The man smiled, calm as ever. "You're early." Maya circled left, gun raised. "It's over. Let her go." The killer's eyes flicked between them, then back to Jack. "No, this only ends when you understand." And with terrifying speed, he slashed the knife downward, but Jack fired first. The man collapsed, knife clattering across the floor. Aaron sobbed, shaking, alive but terrified. Jack rushed forward, cuffing the bleeding man as Maya freed the woman. The killer's lips curled in a blood-stained smile. "You think you've won. You still don't see. I'm just the beginning." His words echoed in Jack's ears long after the ambulance carried Aaron away, long after the sirens faded into the wet Chicago night. For the first time, Jack wondered if he'd caught a killer, or if he'd just opened the door to something far worse. The interrogation room smelled of bleach and sweat. Detective Jack Callahan sat across from the killer, hands folded, eyes fixed. The man was pale from blood loss. A fresh bandage wrapped around his shoulder where Jack's bullet had caught him, but his smile hadn't faded. He looked more like a preacher than a murderer. Calm, composed, eyes glittering with conviction. "Name?" Jack demanded. The man chuckled. "Names are for the dead." Maya Torres leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "We already ran your prints. We'll get your name whether you give it or not." The man tilted his head. "Then what will you have, detective?" A name, an address. You think those things matter? Jack slammed his fist on the table. 3 women are dead. You carved them up, left your little symbol like some kind of artist. What matters is you'll never see daylight again. The man's smile widened. You still don't understand. I didn't choose those women. They were chosen for me. Jack's jaw tightened. By who? The man leaned forward, lowering his voice. By the order. Silence hung heavy in the room. Maya straightened, eyes narrowing. What order? The ones who watch. The man whispered. The ones who see the rot in this city. Politicians, bankers, judges. They hide behind their power, but the order sees. The triangle is their mark. The slash through it is their judgment. Jack frowned. You expect us to believe you're just some errand boy? The man's eyes burned with intensity. I am a messenger. I carried out their will, and you stopped me, which means they'll send another, stronger, smarter. You can't stop them all. Jack's stomach twisted. He'd heard fanatics talk like this before, but something about the man's calm certainty unsettled him. Hours later, after the booking was done, Jack and Maya sat in the squad room, the weight of the night pressing on them. Rain still drummed on the windows. You buy any of that? Maya asked. Jack rubbed his temples. Half of it sounds like cult nonsense, but the other half. He shook his head. If there really is some order, why use him? Why risk exposure? Maya leaned forward. Because maybe exposure is the point. Maybe the killings are a warning. Before Jack could answer, Captain O'Connor burst in, face ashen. Callahan, Torres, conference room. Now, the room was filled with brass and feds. Agent Sarah Whitfield from the FBI stood at the head of the table, flipping through a file. This isn't good, she said, voice clipped. Your suspect, the one you just brought in. His name is Daniel Mercer, no priors, former Army, honorable discharge, lived off the grid for years, but here's the problem. Mercer wasn't acting alone. She tossed down photographs. Grainy surveillance shots, blackhand, white, different men and women, all wearing the same symbol pinned to their lapels. The triangle with the slash. Mercer's right, Whitfield said. There's an organized group calling themselves the Order. They've been linked to disappearances across the Midwest, but until now we had no proof. Tonight changes that. Jack's throat went dry. So what? You're telling me we caught one killer, but the rest are still out there? Whitfield nodded grimly. Dozens, maybe more. Mercer was just their tool. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He sat by his apartment window, city lights glowing through the rain. The photo the killer had given him, the one that said you are next, lay on the table beside his service weapon. He thought of the women, their lifeless eyes. He thought of Mercer's bloodied smile in the interrogation room. He thought of the word that kept echoing in his head, order. The phone buzzed on the counter. Another unknown number, he answered. Detective Callahan. The same distorted voice whispered, you think it's over because you caged one man. You're a child chasing shadows. We are the Order. We are everywhere. Jack's grip tightened. If you're everywhere, then you know where to find me. The voice chuckled. We already have. The line went dead. Jack stared at his own reflection in the window. The city stretched out behind him, alive with secrets. He knew now that Mercer had been right about one thing. The triangle wasn't just a symbol, it was a warning, and Jack Callahan, whether he wanted to or not, had just declared war against it. Thanks for watching.